I believe strongly that there's got to be change. I said it, and just as the White Sox have got to change to win again, the Democratic Party better change the leadership, or they will not win the governorship again.
You had a line in your prepared speech that you were given by your staff that said, "We need a candidate who can win."
Right.
But you didn't deliver that.
No,
line.
I got funny by talking about the White Sox and saying just as the White Sox cannot win without change, Democratic Party will not win without change, and Pat Quinn will not win if he's the nominee of the Democratic Party.
What do you make of the big reception he received here?
At Springfield, I mean, he's got a lot of
people who don't want their pensions cut.
A lot of people who work for the state also, I assume.
You don't think,
according to the Springfield Journal.
You don't think he can beat Dan Rutherford or Rauner?
I don't think that Pat Quinn can win re-election in a general election if he's the nominee of the Democratic Party. That's what I said.
Could you say that again? I mean, we were looking at the back of your neck when you were saying that.
Okay, I don't believe that if the governor is renominated by the Democratic Party, he will win a general election. He barely won against a very flawed candidate for purposes of election statewide in this state 4 years ago. And look at what's happened in the last 4 years. We've had crisis, dysfunction, we have the second highest unemployment in the nation. That is not a platform to run on for re-election. And if you barely won 4 years ago, how in God's name does anyone who understands politics expect that that's a better record today than it was 4 years ago?
That sounds like a nice compliment.
Explain, though, again, the reception was a lot different for Quinn than it was you, like Marianne said. Why is that? Do people just not know you here as well?
I think that may be part of it. I think there may be a lot of people who obviously have known or work for Pat now over the years, and they're appreciative of those jobs.
Do you think those are ringers in there?
I don't, and they're not ringers. They're good people who maybe believe in him or maybe believe in their jobs, and they're looking out for them.
There's been criticism.
I believe I believe strongly that when I'm the nominee of this party, Democrats will unite and be very strong for me.
There's
just
some
as strong
criticism
as
that you're not spending enough time downstate working. Some of the county chairmen, and in fact, the majority of them, are signing on to the Quinn campaign.
Well, you could check the job history of a lot of the majority of them, and you could figure out maybe why they're signing on board. But the reality is I get criticism for not being in a lot of places. Obviously, this campaign just started 2 months ago. It's a very big state. I'm spending a lot of time traveling around the state and up in the Chicago area, in suburbs, because that's an important part of the electorate also, obviously.
Quinn didn't mention the pension crisis really in any great detail in his speech until probably the 12-minute mark. Why do you think he did it that way?
I don't know. I assume he didn't want to offend people who are union people here. But the reality is we will not get a better economy until this fiscal crisis is solved. And it has been around, Democrats, Republicans, people have signed on board to the crisis that's gone on here for a very long time. And I guess he's thinking about politics. That's it.
Sure sounds like
thank you very much.
Michael Bloomberg's PAC to play as big a role?
I don't know. No, that's a separate PAC.
Can you reference this Clout article at all? I mean, you called Pat Quinn a decent guy and talked about jobs, but the one that your campaign had sent something out in terms of IDOT hiring under. Well,
it's on the front page or on the front section of the Springfield paper. So I'm not making it
wrong.
Well, the Inspector General, I guess, will determine that. According to the article, he's investigating the job situation. Continuation of the same thing.
You sure gave a nice compliment to the Republicans.
I'm not complimenting the Republicans. I'm just telling you that, in my opinion, that the governor, as I've said, cannot win a re-election. That's not a compliment. I can tell you all the flaws of the four people who are running as Republicans, and they have deep ones. And it will not be good for this state if any one of them, in my opinion, becomes the governor.
Okay.